Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how the steps that I want you to follow when you set up these problems. So the first thing I want you to do is read the word problem and then write it in simple terms, a simple equation. We're asking X pencils equal 3 dozen pencils. Now this first one, this example, you guys could probably all work in your head, but I don't want you to. You must show your work because I want to know that you know how to use this way to solve a problem. So we're going to insert a table so that we have that set up like we did in your examples. What we're trying to, the first thing that I have, I'm going to put in this first box, and I have 3 dozen pencils. And it's like, think of the equal sign sitting out here to the left of this table. Now, it's like writing a 1 over that, so I'm not going to write anything there. I know I have to put something on the bottom over here. I have to put dozen of pencils, and Word automatically is going to put in an uppercase letter for me. But I know that 1 dozen pencils has how many pencils? You guys should all know that there's 12 things in a dozen. Okay, so now if we look at this, my units of dozen pencils cancel. Just the units, the numbers stay there. So I can cancel those out. And you shouldn't need a calculator for this one, but if you do, that's fine. You've got 3 times 12 divided by 1 should give you 36. So the answer here is 36 pencils. That one was pretty easy because I used units that you're familiar with. So this next one, though, has nonsense units, and that's so you can learn the process. So it says, how many Wookiees are in 3 clangs? So first step, write it as a simple equation. X Wookiees equal 3 clangs. And I gave you a conversion factor to help you solve this one. Okay, so let's insert our table. And again, I think a 4-cell table will be just fine on this one. When we get to harder ones, you'll have to have more cells on your table. But the thing that we know to start with is that we have 3 clangs. And we want to know how many Wookiees that is. So from up here, I have to pull what I know about clangs, my conversion factor. So I know 2 clangs are equal to, and I put what it equals up here, 3.6 Wookiees. Now, my units of clangs are what are going to cancel if I have put them in the right place. And now I can bring in my calculator. And I have 3, whoops, let's clear that. I have 3 times 3.6, and I divide that by 2. And my answer is 5.4. And your units should be Wookiees because there were no Wookiees over here to cancel. Again, put this in a box, make it a different color, help me see your answer. Always include units in your answer. All right, next one. How many apples in 13 oranges? I know you guys have always heard that you can't compare apples and oranges, but we've given you a conversion factor here. 4 oranges equal 9.4 apples. But the question we're asking is X apples equal 13 oranges. So I need to come down here and insert a table. And again, this is a simple one, so I know a 4-cell one will work. Let me get those numbers out of there. Okay, so from our conversion, I'm trying to find 13, I have in my problem, 13 oranges. I'll say the right thing here. I know from my conversion factor that 4 oranges are equal to 9.4 apples. So oranges are what cancel. Oops, just oranges, not the number. I'm left with the unit of apples, which is what I'm trying to find out up here, X apples. So I can bring in my calculator now, and to do my math, I have 13 times 9.4, and I divide that by 4. 30.55 apples. And actually, my number is incorrect there. If we go with significant figures, how many significant figures were you given up here? 2. So my answer technically should be 31 then. And I can go back. This one had two significant figures, so I can have 2 significant figures there. All right, another one with nonsense units. How many birds in 1.4 donuts? So 1 donut is equal to 12 birds. So the question is, X birds are equal to 1.4 donuts. And I'll put in my table. And I know that I have 1.4 donuts. I know that 1 donut is equal to 12 birds. Okay, so my units of donuts are what are going to cancel here. And if I do the math, that tells me I have 1.4 times 12, and I divide that by 1, and that remains at 16.8. So my answer is 16. Let's get a point in there. 0.8. How many significant figures can I have? Only 2, so I have to round this up. So it is 17, and I'm trying to find birds. Okay? All right, last one's a little harder, so let's think about this, read through it. 412 miles from Mr. Benecke's house to his favorite fishing spot. How many seconds will it take him to get there if he travels at 80 kilometers per hour? So the question that we're asking here is X seconds equal 412 miles. Okay, now I want to brainstorm through here just a few more things with you, because there are some other conversions you have to know to complete this one. Okay, first of all, you have to know how many kilometers equal a mile. So you might need to look that up. Okay, 1.6 km, kilometers, equal 1 mile. And then this one, we'll just leave it as a m. Okay. Also, because we want to have our answer in seconds, and we give our rate there in hours, we've got to get from hours to seconds. So you ought to also need to know that there are 60 seconds, or S we'll put, in 1 minute, and we're going to abbreviate that minute because we also have a mile that is the M. And you also have to know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. And hour is usually just HR. All right, so now I come down, I'm going to put in my table. And I know that this one's going to be a little bit bigger, but let's just start with 3. And then you'll know how to add a cell if you need to. So we are asking, we're asking how many seconds equal 412 miles. So I'm going to put in the 412 miles. Actually, I'm going to write it out in this problem. Miles here. Now, from my planning ahead of time, I know that 1 mile, I'm trying to get it so I have seconds on the top. Everything else has to cancel. So I know that 1 mile, 1 miles, we'll keep it written the same even though that's technically bad English, is equal to 1.6 km. Okay, so miles are going to cancel. And down here now I've got to put something that I know from my equation that has kilometers, that I can put something kilometers on the bottom, and I can put something else on top. So if I look back at my problem, I have 80 kilometers per hour. So I can put the 80 km down here and the 1 hour up here, and that makes my kilometers unit cancel. All right, so now I've got hours, and I've got to get from hours to seconds. So I need to, and I'm out of table cells. So I'm going to insert a column to the right, and I'm going to do that one more time because I know that I need another one. Okay, so now from what I planned ahead of time, how many hours, what I know about hours to minutes. I know that 1 hour is 60 minutes. So I'm going to put my 1 hour down here so that hours will cancel. I'll put 60 minutes up here. Hours now cancel. Not to seconds yet. I have one more relationship I have to put in here to get there. I know that there are 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Okay? And my minutes cancel. And that leaves me with seconds, which is what I'm trying to find out right up here. I can bring in my calculator now, and I can do the math. I've got 412 times 1.6 equals, and then it's times 1, so I'm not going to enter that one, but times 60 times 60. And then I need to look at what's on the bottom. I need to divide all of that by 80. So my answer is 29,664. 29,664, and my units are seconds because that's what I was trying to find right here, and it is the 1 unit that didn't cancel in all my relationships. So I want you to write all of the problems out like this. Even if you can do them in your head, you must do them this way to earn credit. If you have questions, let me know.